Brooklyn Independent Television.
Coming up on Brooklyn Review.
A large Hanukkah celebration in Sheepshead Bay takes on added meaning this year because of Hurricane Sandy. I'm Sherry Carabin, and coming up on Brooklyn Review, I'll have that story.
I'm Brian Vines in Dumbo, where Senator Squadron is convening a resource fair post-Sandy.
And it certainly wouldn't be the holiday season without a tasty slice of Brooklyn's own cheesecake. More so the reason to shop Brooklyn this season.
These stories and more next. Welcome to Brooklyn Review. I'm Brian Vines. It's no secret that Brooklyn could really use a light to pull through some tough times right now. At Brooklyn Borough Hall Plaza, a 40-foot tall Christmas tree is doing just that. And our Caroline Shin was there, along with a Brooklyn songbird and a guy in red you're sure to recognize.
The snow's coming down. I'm watching.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. Season of lights, the season of hope, the season of prayers, the season of happiness and compassion. This Christmas and Hanukkah season we dedicate to the families in the impacted communities from the Hurricane Sandy.
They're singing gentle, but it's not like Christmas at all.
I was born and raised here in Brooklyn, and coincidentally enough, the song I performed tonight was a song that I had my very first solo with in the show choir at MS51, which is here in Park Slope. And I actually performed it for Marty Markowitz when I was about 12, 13 years old. So it's kind of like a full circle situation for me being invited here personally by him. So this is awesome.
And now, I think it's time to do the tree, that's for sure. Andrew, are you ready? Okay, let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Party hop. Mistletoe home where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rockin' around.
So many families are still suffering as a result of the superstorm. It's good to bring a little light and a little happiness into people's lives, and I think it's the right time to do it.
We need this for the community, for what we went through with the storm. I think this is just great.
Merry Christmas.
What did you ask for Christmas?
I asked for a toy, iPad.
Oh, that's nice. What about you?
The new iPod and a tablet.
Money. I want an iPhone 5 for Christmas.
A DS.
An iPod for Christmas.
A Samsung Galaxy.
What do you girls want for Christmas?
I want a skateboard. Santa. A bike, like how I always wanted. Superman. Shoes, that's called Uggs. And a DSi, a rescue bot. Activated oven. And a walkie-talkie, and that's it.
Could be all from a trip on an after-school program. On the count of 3, ladies, Oasis Beacon. 1, 2, 3.
Oasis Beacon!
It lights up the spirits, you know, and it gives up hope, lots of hopes.
I like Yo Gabba Gabba because it's really good. It's just a movie.
I love your outfit.
Thank you.
Hey, Mom, did you dress her?
No, she dressed herself. She just liked to put on matching stuff.
What do you want for a present this year?
I like another jacket.
So it's a leather jacket that she asked for, also going to match something?
Yes.
A tree lit up in Brooklyn, and the people seem to have a great time. From the parents and the kids to the naughty and the nice, wishing you happy holidays. This is Caroline Shin from Brooklyn Independent Television.
Now that you're feeling all festive, it's known as the Festival of Lights, a time to celebrate and reflect on a religious miracle witnessed by the Jews so long ago. This year, the 8 days of Hanukkah are taking on a more serious tone for those impacted by Superstorm Sandy. Sherry Carabin has more from one of Brooklyn's largest holiday celebrations at the Kings Bay Y in Sheepshead Bay.
It may not have been a typical Hanukkah celebration, but for those who turned out at the Kings Bay Y's extravaganza on December 9th, it offered just the right mix of fun and tradition to keep children entertained, while teaching them some of the basics about the holiday.
It's a very children-centric celebration where we have performances by our children from our various programs. They sing and they dance.
Okay, guys, let's wake up in Chanukah.
There are a lot of arts and crafts activities. Make your own dreidel, do your own art with on a Hanukkah subject. They'll get a taste of donuts and they will get a sense of what Hanukkah is all about.
Spin like a dreidel. 1, 2, 3, and spin, 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 spin.
I think children experience joy through hands-on activities, through experiential learning. So it's one thing to preach and to teach, another thing for these kids to really to touch and to smell and to eat, and that leaves a positive impact on these kids.
The Hanukkah celebration at the Kings Bay Y in Sheepshead Bay is considered the largest in Brooklyn, drawing in about 2,000 people from communities ranging from Sheepshead Bay and Mill Basin to Marine Park and Manhattan Beach. In addition to all the activities, there was also a symbolic menorah lighting, with politicians, religious, and community leaders each lighting one candle to celebrate the 8-day Festival of Lights that commemorates the rededication of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem after the Maccabees broke free from Greek rule.
The religious significance of Hanukkah is when Jerusalem was liberated and Maccabees entered the temple in Jerusalem. They lit up this menorah and the light that was supposed to, the oil that was supposed to last for 1 day lasted for 8 days.
Did you have fun today?
A lot. I really enjoyed the show. It was a lot of fun. It made me laugh most of the time.
What does Hanukkah mean to you?
Celebration of all the 8 days that, well, it was mostly a long time ago when Hashem, which is God, gave us a miracle of the jug, of the oil.
While the celebration is always a joyful event, this year it's taken on added significance since many of the families participating were badly impacted by Hurricane Sandy.
The community was hard hit by Storm Sandy. A lot of the surrounding homeowners, neighbors, still trying to recover, rebuild their homes, being able to have a celebration, celebrate Hanukkah. People, not only Jewish people are here, but people from the community, other children are here celebrating, and it's really, it's an uplifting day for the community.
For this Sheepshead Bay resident and her family, the memories of the disaster are still quite vivid.
Our neighborhood took quite a hit. There was a lot of sewer backups. There's no electricity for close to 3 weeks, and some people even more. There were no working traffic lights. There was no police. There was no National Guard. There was a lot of looting. We're still kind of trying to recover, and it's really slow, and it's very difficult.
Can everybody say happy Hanukkah by the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
Today is kind of a bittersweet holiday because it kind of reminds you of resilience as people and resilience as a neighborhood, because one thing that came out of this disaster is that because we didn't have a lot of outside help, the neighborhood did come together.
Our community was impacted, not as badly as the rest of the communities like Brighton Beach, Manhattan Beach, Seagate, but we were one of the lucky ones in our community, and we did not really feel much effect. This is a celebration of lights, so we're hopeful that the road will be lit of each and every one who did sustain a lot of damage.
as residents continue to recover from Hurricane Sandy. Those at the Kings Bay Y say they'll do whatever they can to get people back on their feet, with the $1,500 raised during the extravaganza being used to benefit those still in need. Reporting from Sheepshead Bay, this is Sherry Carabin for Brooklyn Review.
As you're thinking of buying holiday gifts this season, don't forget to spend dollars in your own backyard and shop Brooklyn. This annual campaign is sponsored by the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and reporter Fred Brown hit the streets of Fulton Mall, where merchants were open for business with hopes that customers will keep it local in this busy retail season.
It's that time of year again, Brooklyn, so let the shopping begin. The stores are open, merchants are offering bargains, and the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce has one important message.
So I think the message is very clear. It's the holidays. We're standing on the Fulton Mall. We're listening to music. You see a Christmas tree behind me. The message is simple. Get out of your houses. If you're going to shop, whatever you're buying, shop local, shop in Brooklyn. Go to Sheepshead Bay, go to Red Hook, go to Dumbo, go to Sunset Park, go to Coney Island, go to Gerritsen Beach. Come downtown. Anywhere you go, just spend your money in Brooklyn.
And that's exactly what this happy shopper was doing in a jewelry store.
How you doing? What's happening?
Good. So you just went shopping. What'd you get?
I bought my wife a pair of earrings. I hope she's gonna like it.
What kind of earrings?
It's diamond earrings with gold.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very psyched to give it to her. I shop downtown Brooklyn all the time.
You love her?
Yeah, of course.
So listen, you can go anywhere. K Jewelers, anywhere, the Diamond District. Why are you shopping Brooklyn? Does that matter to you?
Well, the downtown Brooklyn is nice stores. It's close by the house. It's nice service for people. It's trains go here all the time. Everywhere you go, there's access to any stores you want to go to. Good service, good merchandise, and good prices.
Good pricing and convenience are always important factors when shopping, and Brooklyn is known as the borough of bargains.
For my another son. Yes, clothes, shopping, pants.
Pants and
yeah.
stuff. So you shop in Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
Why do you think people should shop in Brooklyn, not like Macy's and stuff?
Because it's Macy's. I think I know it's more better, but more expensive. Yeah, this is a low price right here.
And right in the community.
Yeah, it's more better.
You think it's better?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you believe in supporting local businesses?
Yes.
Why?
I was raised up in Brooklyn. Right now I live in Staten Island. And I still come to Brooklyn to shop because I can mostly find what I'm looking for.
So no matter where you go up and down Fulton Mall, for small businesses, the equation remains the same. The reason to shop Brooklyn is so they can stay open and compete against the bigger chains. In fact, according to most consumer reports, about 50% of annual business revenues is generated during the holiday season. Business analysts confirm that keeping dollars circulating within local communities is one sure way to stimulate the economy.
Go into these neighborhoods. There are stores open. There are businesses up and running. There are jobs that need to be kept going during the holiday season. And the message is simple. It's our message. It's the borough president's message. Go out and shop local. Spend your money in Brooklyn.
Spend your money in Brooklyn. That has a nice ring to it, not just during the holiday season, but all year long. For Brooklyn Review, I'm Fred Brown.
CityWide Disaster Services in Brooklyn's Canarsie has been providing services via mobile radio for more than 30 years. They helped people on 9/11, when the miracle on the Hudson happened, and of course, during the Sandy disaster. Julia Vassie has more.
How to survive a disaster when the internet and phone lines are down and 911 calls do not get through. First responders who helped thousands of helpless families when Sandy hit New York say walkie-talkies and radio transmitters in times like this are worth gold. Keith Brooks runs a disaster operations center in Brooklyn's Canarsie. He connected people cut off from the outside world with emergency crews.
We handed radios out to people like LIPA. There were some people from police department, fire department, the fire marine boats had our radio, and we were just coordinating information up and back. Although they had their own radio system, we were just providing them with information of ongoing incidents.
Their radios and online system called CityLink to report emergency situations never went down during the superstorm. And over 100 people who work here, all volunteers, were able to send out dozens of ambulance cars and fire trucks to residents trapped in their homes.
We're sending our Marine unit to assist.
Copy that, sir. The time is 16:37. Thank you.
There was one person, one of our people out in the field was screaming for help that there was a building being filled up with water, people were on the roof.
When the storm finally hit, we had one truck that was down in Brighton Beach, and as they were trying to make their way northbound away from the water, they kept coming up against flooded streets. They were watching police cars and civilian vehicles getting stuck in the water and starting to look like they were floating with people screaming for help, climbing out of their cars onto the roof of the vehicles and whatnot. It was a little hair-raising. We were questioning whether or not we should suspend operations because of the extreme weather, but we felt as long as our crews were safe, we would be okay.
This place has been operating for more than 30 years, providing communication services to other emergency centers throughout the city. On the day of the national tragedy, 9/11, and when an airplane landed on water amid skyscrapers, making the miracle on the Hudson. But the biggest challenge was Sandy.
It was so widespread, the resources couldn't be brought in, the floodwaters, there was no water, the fires. It was just devastating to the whole area because it was so widespread. And we were the victims. We were the dispatchers, and we were the victims also, so it's pretty hard. It's one thing helping somebody when you're not involved, but when it's actually your house and your family, it really kind of hits home. And I had security cameras at my house, and through the internet on this screen over here, we were watching my house, and all of a sudden my house was basically destroyed.
Keith equipped this whole operations center with mobile radios he made himself. And Sandy reminded him and his colleagues again, when you live in a disaster-prone area, communication is so vital for the community.
405 Lexington, come in.
For Brooklyn Review, this is Julia Vassie.
405 Lexington, be advised, EMS is en route.
Since Sandy, an outpouring of support has made its way to Brooklyn's shores. From FEMA to the SBA to the DOB, there's no shortage of help or acronyms. But wading your way through all of the agencies and what they offer may take some skill. State Senator Daniel Squadron is helping his constituents make sense of the alphabet soup of support by holding a resource fair.
But right now, let's get resources to those who need it, and let's make sure that people, not just those in power, are beginning to have conversations about any policy changes that come from this.
Resources and policy, the topics of the day at this resource fair and community conversation, sponsored by New York State Senator Daniel Squadron. At Galapagos Art Space in Dumbo, elected officials, representatives from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Small Business Administration, and various other agencies and businesses met Brooklynites to answer questions, raise awareness, and express a little outrage.
Some insurance companies are not respecting their policyholders. They're telling their policyholders, whoa, hey, you pay your premiums. Well, thank you. However, this was an act of God. Act of God. Oh, it wasn't a storm. It was an act of God. Well, the truth of the matter is, act of God of not, it was a storm that whipped the waters up, that destroyed property and everything else, okay? So the bottom line is, respect your policyholders. You should be looking for ways to cover your policyholders. That's called respect.
Ruth Arberman is looking for some respect. She and her husband, Jeffrey, have been caring for his elderly mother since Sandy destroyed her Sheepshead Bay home, and their dealings with the insurance companies have been less than smooth.
If you pay an insurance company premiums, like my mom-in-law has for the last 63 years, and then you finally have a claim, this shouldn't be a problem. And yet it seems like every step of it is. They've denied her homeowner's claim. They sent the adjuster back because they claim there was no damage to her roof, which there is, that she's not covered for the flood insurance because it was a flood. And it's sort of like, but the policy says you have hurricane insurance. What does that mean if it doesn't include the water? So, I think that it's time maybe that as a government we created language that people can actually understand in the documents that they sign, that you shouldn't have to take your insurance policy to a lawyer to figure out whether or not you're actually covered, because otherwise what are you paying for?
No one had to pay for the free advice and counsel offered by representatives like Iramis de Jesus, an emergency management program specialist with FEMA.
Those disaster survivors that have not registered with FEMA to do so. Our deadline at this point is December 31st, so it's very important that you do make an application with us. Even if you consider that you have insurance, just apply just in case there are damages that are uninsured, underinsured, which probably your insurance company will not cover. So it's important for you to register on time.
She went on to explain the process.
Register by December 31st, and from there our representative will take the information. You should be receiving, depending on the type of application we're making, you should be receiving an inspection, or if you're insured, your documentation will need to be submitted as soon as possible as well. From there, after the inspection, you should be receiving a determination or a decision from our agency letting you know what assistance are available, and just following through to make sure that you are actually receiving the assistance that could help you.
The event also took into account Brooklyn's business community, with representatives from the Small Business Administration processing applications and fielding questions.
While we are not FEMA, we do work very closely with them. So once you apply to FEMA, which is the first step in the process to even get to us, they will determine whether they're going to send you to us or not.
For many Brooklyn business owners, loan happens to be a four-letter word at the moment. But if you can't see another way to keep your business alive, the SBA can be a lifeline, especially if you have less than perfect credit.
We're not a bank. We're not giving out a bank loan. While we do look at your credit history and while we do look at your ability to repay, these are not factors that will determine whether or not you'll get this loan. For instance, if you do have a poor credit score, or you perhaps went into bankruptcy before, this is not going to exclude you from getting this loan. This is just something that we look at to determine your rate. So what I'm here to do is to not give out a bank loan, but show you how you can access your own money. This is government funds, and we want to be able to help businesses get back on their feet.
The fair was only half the draw. After getting information, attendees shared experiences from the storm and looked ahead to better plan for a future where severe weather is the new normal.
There are a lot of different steps in the recovery people are going through. Some are still out of their homes, their businesses are still shut for months. Some are getting up and running. If you were at all impacted, there's still a lot to focus on. And if you weren't, as a city, we all need to be thinking about it because there are going to be changes coming out of this. We want to make sure they're the right ones.
For Brooklyn Review, I'm Brian Vines. Dance is a language in itself for so many people, and for children, it can help them express what they might not be able to in words. But the cost of taking professional dance class can be expensive and very difficult for families to provide. The people behind the annual event, Stars of New York Dance, want to help change that and give any child who wants to learn the means to do so.
The Stars of New York Dance is an idea that came to fruition about 5 years ago, and this is our third year. It's a charitable, thrilling, and judged dance competition for New York City leaders that helps raise dance scholarship funds for at-risk youth in Brooklyn and beyond.
I've been dancing since I was 3. Dance is like an escape for me. It takes me to another place. It lets me express my feelings because I'm a very quiet person, so dance helps me express my feelings.
There it is. Press.
This is my third year doing Stars in New York. So the first year I hosted the event and I choreographed the opening number as I do every year. As African people, that's what we did. You know, we danced to celebrate holidays, we danced when a child was born, we danced at weddings, we danced at funerals, we danced when boys go to become men, we danced when girls go to become women.
We estimate from the dance companies that a year of dance costs about $1,000 to put a student through the dance instruction, the costumes, shoes, all kinds of things, uniforms that they need to dance. So we set aside $1,000 for each dance company to be able to give a child a scholarship for a full year, and it's really great. They not only get training, but they have performances, they go out to other performances, so that $1,000 is really used and stretched across many areas.
They have a chance to learn, they have a chance to grow, and they don't have the pressure or resistance to being able to do what it is they need to do now. Because so many people want to do things, so many children want to dance, they want to sing, they want to do some kind of art form. Sometimes their parents can't afford it, so it's wonderful.
It felt good knowing that it would help me out in different things and I wouldn't have to worry about a lot of things. It helped me get more dance equipment that I needed, like leotards and tights and ballet slippers, stuff that I need for dance.
Ultimately, I want everyone to get out of this event is that they are a star. This event is not just about dance. It doesn't matter whether if you're a public official that has high visibility or if you're just a child. You are unique, you're dynamic, and dance can elevate that in you. I just want people to know the importance of dance, the importance of the arts, and to be a part of this movement because we need everybody to be a part and we need everybody to dance.
Well, that brings this Brooklyn Review to a close. If you missed anything or you'd like to check it out again, please, you can visit us on our home on the web at bricartsmedia.org. We're also on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube. You can tweet us. Just make sure that you're in touch, and we'll be in touch with you. See you next time. Bye now.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at bricartsmedia.org/BIT.